I think designers is a really at the intersection between creativity and technical work, right? Because on the one hand, there's all the ideas. On the other hand, we need to use the technical tools on the computer to implement these ideas. And they're actually very two different parts of the brain. I actually do use maybe I don't use the shortcuts in Webflow. I don't know if that means I'm not a pro, but I do use the add panel.
Well, you're teaching. And I think when you're teaching, you have to show people how to actually use it because they don't know yet. I can never find them every
But what do you think about it in general? Do you think it's helpful?
quick stuff. Well, I can see people easily building stuff with that. I will probably not use it.
I think it's... No? Really?
Yeah, because I'm so used to have my divs and set things up manually and, also kind of.
I was actually re-recording the Webflow Masterclass video today with this update. And I basically structured it. I explained what a grid is. And then I was like, but here's an easier way to do it. You can do it with Quick Stack. And I was wondering, why do I teach people how to do it the more complex way if they're only going to use, like, I think most people are going to use the Quick Stack.
It has limitations. I'm not sure. But
because CMS.
You have to use grid for some things.
Yeah, but because my thoughts are because in CMS, you already have the divs created and you need to change them to grid versus if you're building something from scratch, you can just add a quick stack. But if you're using a CMS collection and you're trying to make a grid out of it, those are my thoughts. But other than that, I couldn't think why would you need a div element?
Oh, I got a use case. For example, there are some times I will use a grid for desktop and then in smaller breakpoints, I will turn it into Flexbox. So I would just go, I like Flexbox.
Yeah.
So, and then you can...
Me too.
Yeah. So you cannot do that with Quick Stack. You don't get that.
You can't turn this Quick Stack into the Flux? Ah, interesting.
That's what I read.
Okay. I didn't know that. It was the first time that I saw really, I wouldn't say negative reaction on Twitter to something Webflow is doing, but there was a lot of backlash. I saw somebody even saying like, oh my God, you're turning into the drag and drop. This is a feature from the drag and drop family. And then, Wix, Squarespace, Framer. And then somebody else was like, hey, don't put the Framer in the drag and drop gang. Or people were really becoming kind of like tribal about their web design tools.
To be honest, when I saw it released, I was like, okay, let me check. Can I make a div grid? I was like, yes, okay, I'm good. I don't care. If it's still there, it is what it is.
I feel like people are taking their web design tools very, very religiously lately. I mean, I think there's a fantastic community around Webflow. You're a part of it. So it makes sense you want to still belong in your community. But I feel like sometimes it makes you, blind to just being able to use what's best for you, for the project.
I'm not that loyal.
It's good to hear.
But if something else, I'm also kind of realist. Like, I cannot be defending something. Well, I don't own it. If it's something wrong, I will tell you. Yes, I'm a fan, but I don't know. I was a Maya user. I love Maya. Will I defend it to my grave? No. I'm learning Blender. I'm adapting. It's software in the end.
But you're actually very active in the Webflow community, right? I mean, you're in the Foxys community. I met you in the Webflow conference last year. You're going to a meetup right now, soon in Manchester. You said you're really active.
Yeah, I have no one around me, so I have to be active online so I can have people.
Yeah,
I'm also in the Flow party,
but they're in the. Oh my God!
And I was also in the state of Flow. Now I'm kind of starting to fall apart a little bit because I have not much time anymore. But yeah, I'm loving the community. They helped me a lot.
But it's interesting that the community is around the software versus, we're right now, I'm thinking with Kaya on our community, and she went to a community management conference last week, and she came back with this interesting framework about communities. And there were different types of communities. One of them was user groups, meaning a community around a tool like the Webflow community. Other ones were around, peer groups where you're everybody is doing the same thing, like designers. I think that's kind of like the Flux community. Everybody's trying to be a web designer and we're all helping each other. And there are all kinds of, different types of communities. So it's weird not weird, but it's interesting that so many people build their community around software versus, again, like being a designer or being a freelancer or being a creative. There's all kinds of different communities. What drew you into the Webflow one?
I feel it's the Webflow ones. The Webflow is the excuse. Webflow is the excuse because then you start to you go into the communities, but it's not about software anymore. It's just the thing that gets you connected initially. Design, it's a little bit too generic, but when you start with something like Webflow, you start asking questions, technical questions, and then slowly things develop and you go in different directions. Like I have a group that I met in Flow Party, and we're learning 3JS together and Blender. So it's
Got it. So it's not about the software. The software is just a trigger.
yeah, it's just also like me traveling to meet people. It's the excuse to travel. And while I not be alone, I will I meet friends that I haven't met in real life. So it's it's the excuse.
But it's a big investment. I mean, you came from Greece to San Francisco. That's a big that's a big investment.
I had one client that I spent a lot of money. But you know what? I'm not to go to San Francisco since forever, since I was 18 or something. So it makes sense that my first trip in the States would be there and I wouldn't be alone.
Yeah.
Because I was there all the time with people. I was calling people, hey, we're going for a coffee, we're doing that. I was never alone. It was definitely easier than
What did you think about San Francisco?
Well, I think I should have visited when I was 20 and not now. Because I see back then I was a very, I was into grunge music. I was a little American kid in Greece. Like my whole being would adapt probably very well. But now I'm too European. I walk a lot. I like downtowns, long coffees. I'm definitely European, 1,000%. And again, 20 years ago, I visited London. I hated it. I was like, oh, I don't like this place. And I went last year and I was like, oh, I could live here now. So it's the switch in my character, I think, and growing up, it was okay. I'm moving away from the States. I don't care about you anymore.
I had the fantasy about San Francisco. I don't know, just because I live in Tel Aviv and there's so many startups here, and like San Francisco is like the holy grail of startups and tech. And I was like, oh, I have to go to San Francisco. I also went there. First time I went there, I don't remember the year, 2018, I think it was, to Webflow, to do a Webflow workshop. The first thing I saw in San Francisco was actually the Webflow office. But I was actually kind of like, what a weird place to live. It's like, really, it's not walkable. No downtown, or just like, it's like, that city did not live up to what I hoped it was. Like, I can never live here.
No, I don't know. Also, how would have been if I've been there before COVID? Because everything, startups were not there when I've been there.
This year it was, or last year it was a ghost town. I was there before COVID. It was still a weird city, like with a downtown that's just feel with home. It was still a weird city. Do you have like a local Webflow community or events going on in Greece as well?
No, I think it's 5 months.
No?
I know one person that's
really
Webflow yet. I know that I heard of some others. I'm trying to convince a couple of people, but yeah. And the one I know, Dimitris, I haven't met him yet. Because he lives kind of far away. So basically, I know more people.
That's basically just means there's a huge potential for Webflow in Greece.
I don't know. We're a little bit stubborn here and resistant to change. Not all of us.
Every country in the world that I talk to say this about their country. No. Nobody appreciates design here. Nobody wants to like new websites, good websites.
No, here it's, I think, new technologies are like, everyone's like, what do you mean? WordPress for life. And they will be like, no. They're kind of, not all of them, but they tend to be very resistant. We're very Middle Eastern and Balkan. So everything's kind of stuck, unless you have people that they're not. We'll catch up. Better for me.
Yeah, for sure. So you say you're working on a Webflow Ecommerce and you've learned a lot of lessons.
The last 3 years.
Tell me.
It was my first project. It's my sister's website. And of course, we never finished it because you know how it's family things. I was like, do your photos. And then she did something. And then something else happened that we didn't finish. And then it's like, I built it. And then I learned more stuff. And I was like, okay, this is a really bad thing I built. I need to redo it. And then you get real work.
What is she selling? What is the...
She makes handmade jewelry, silver.
Okay.
So it makes sense for her to have a smaller shop in Webflow. I told her, are you interested in Shopify maybe? She was like, no. Okay. If you like Webflow, I'm with you. You know, I said like, I don't care about inventory. I cannot like, she has an edge shop. So, and it was a huge learning curve when you start with an e-commerce. It took me, I think, 2 days to realize that you don't put the products in CMS, you go to e-commerce and you add it there. And
Whoops.
And that was 3 years ago. So not a lot of courses were out there, not many videos. It took me so long. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm stupid. But it was fun. I still like e-commerces a lot. I feel I enjoy it because I use them a lot. I shop a lot online. So I feel the connection and I get like what's annoying, what you can change. We'll see.
So what were you saying about like customized Shopify template? What was that?
Oh my God. So I have a friend and she was like, I need shop. Let's do it in Webflow. But then she told me about what she wants to sell. I was like, okay, Webflow is not for you. It was a clear case of it doesn't make sense to use it because you're going to have issues. She has pajamas and stuff like that she designs and someone sells. So she has more products in its inventory. She needs a lot of things. It is a proper e-commerce, right? But then I was like, on newbie, I was like, yeah, I will do it for super cheap so I can learn also how to do this in Shopify. We got a theme. It looked awesome. It met the designs you want, the colors, everything. And it's a freaking mess. Every page has different CSS. You gotta find where things are located. I'm so annoyed. I'm going to actually rebuild it. A little bit of liquid.
Shopify?
Yes.
Or... Oh, wow.
Yeah. I will use, though, the Udesly converter because now I know how to use attributes from Webflow to export them so I can create the blocks you would use in Shopify. So it won't be a direct conversion. It will be an actual build, but I can control it. I cannot change anything. I'm annoyed. I need a control.
Yeah.
And that theme is
I actually don't have much experience in e-commerce, but it's like so many people are asking about this and I think there's a lot of work in it. Yeah, and the Webflow to Shopify is still not solved, I guess.
Yeah, because it goes to the older version of Shopify themes, to theme 1. And now there's theme 2, which is a lot more versatile. You can do more stuff. And that's the issue with the theme, actually, we bought. And because they didn't rebuild it, they translated it to the new theme. It has a lot of things that are left over. It creates so many issues. I learned my lesson, though. Now I will learn how to do that. So challenge accepted.
But so what is the lesson? I'll just build it myself. I'm not going to try to adapt the theme.
No.
I'm just going to build it myself.
I will take the basic Dawn theme. I will create whatever I need and change it to the way, because I learned a little bit of Liquid also, so I can change the code. And I will learn.
What is that like? Is that like JavaScript? Is that like HTML, CSS?
It's, if you know JavaScript, things become easier. And I did a little bit of, I don't remember. It was another.
Do you do JavaScript?
A little bit. I can fix it. I can understand it. I'm an A1 student. Had A2 if it would be a language. I understand things, but I cannot write like a piece of anything, you know. It will be.
Yeah, I can change the parameters.
No, I understand everything, but I cannot just go in there and create it. But I'm getting closer. I like so.
Are you learning it like actively?
I believe I'm a little bit ADHD. You cannot diagnose it here, so I don't know. So I keep changing what I'm learning. So I will go like a little bit of JavaScript, then Webgl, and then it becomes too hard, and I'll go back to that, and then a little bit of React. And I keep jumping through stuff, but in the end, they all combine and help me learn the other things.
You said you're learning Blender now, but you've mentioned you already knew Maya and stuff like that. Yeah. So how are you learning and why Blender? And tell me about it.
Well, I don't want to pay for Maya and I don't want to steal it like we used to in school. That was 20 years ago. It was okay. Also, I haven't used Maya again in like 15 years. So I would need to kind of relearn. My issue with Blender was I have to forget all the things I was used to doing like without thinking in Maya. So it took me a while to change shortcuts. Literally, shortcuts from 20 years ago, my hands still do automatically. So
That's interesting.
yeah, it's weird. But I like Blender. I can use it without guilt. It's kind of powerful. You can do whatever you want because it's not about the software. It's about how much understanding you.
What do you want to use this for?
I don't know. Right now, to create some renders, maybe, and maybe in Webgl. So again, it's the whole mix up of stuff.
And with Webgl, you're just going to export objects and then import them in Webgl or something like that?
Yeah.
You don't have to reprogram everything.
No, if it's a model, no. You can import models in and maybe bake the textures and create the lights. You'll see. If the side project that I'm having with a couple of friends comes to fruition, you'll see. If not, well.
Oh, I'm intrigued. How are you learning Blender?
Well, I'm not very good at learning stuff without having a purpose. So now I got one that it's 3D environments in Blender because I want to create some 3D environments. But mostly I'm doing the Webgl part with Bruno Simon's course, 3J's Journey, which is, I'm sorry, Ron, but I think it's one of the best courses ever.
Interesting. Okay, maybe I can learn.
Yeah.
I'm always up to learning and improving.
He's really good. He updates it all the time. And he's way...
You send me the link. I want to check it out.
Yes. I think we all agree, all the students, I think, all my friends that were there, we agree that his course is ridiculously good. Even if you don't care about Webgl, you should go through the course. But yeah, totally.
It's not the I guess 3JS is something else. There's this very cool website where you scroll through and you see the floors and you probably know there's 3JS. It's that guy? Okay. Got it. Yeah. So I saw the website and he built his own learning platform and it looks kind of crazy.
And
all right.
His personal website for me, it's like the goal because it's basically gay, but it has, I think, 99 accessibility. It's everything. It's either 100 or 99 when you check in page.
Like super fancy, but also accessible.
Yeah. It does everything. So for me, that I'm also a lot into accessibility and screaming at everyone, use your headings properly and structure things. And I'm kind of the weird one screaming at people. That is like, look, because always there's excuse. No, but you cannot do this. Then don't build a game and you can use it. But
whenever I show the super cool websites with crazy animations on YouTube, people would always scream, but they're not accessible. They will look horrible on mobile. They're like, they're loading super slow. So whenever I show like these crazy websites on YouTube with the crazy designs in 3D, people would always scream about accessibility. They would say, yes, but these websites are not accessible. They look horrible on mobile. They're loading too slow. And it's really cool that, this guy can show that you can make it cool and accessible. And yeah, it just works. So that's nice.
I totally agree. Every time someone sends me a website to check, I check it on my phone. And if I cannot load it, or if it doesn't open, or it's like, oh, you have to check it on a desktop, and it doesn't tell me what the website is about, I'm annoyed. I'm like literally not visiting them. So I'm definitely on the side of, if you build it for everyone, or create a version for mobile that makes sense. And I agree that there are some websites that there will be less accessible, but not doing the bare minimum is like, come on, like literally, come on,
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, you got me excited about this course. I'm going to check it out. And I think I might be starting working on the fourth version iteration of Webflow Masterclass. So it's always a good kind of idea to motivate myself to make the best course possible. I always try to get myself hyped before I re-record the courses. So
you know what?
Yeah.
Make it long. It's fine to make the course long. Bruno's course, their lessons, they're like almost 4 hours long. It's fine.
Really?
Because we can always speed it up.
I just had the complete opposite notion. So first of all, I'm glad that you're saying this so that you can challenge me. But I had, I look at the analytics at the back end, and we had kind of like lessons that were in multiple courses, not specifically in the Webflow Masterclass. We had like lessons that were 45 minutes and then lessons that are broken into 5, 6, 7 minutes. The retention on the long videos is just like very low. Like people are not getting through a long lesson. It seems like it's much easier for people to digest a lot of small, short videos than sit down for like a long session, super long session.
I think it may depend on the platform. Like on YouTube, I'm not sitting there either.
No, but I'm talking about online
But
courses.
in a course that I pay, no, I will like, if I'm interested, it will take me a while, maybe sometimes, but it means that I'm taking the whole, okay, it's nice to have pointers where things are happening.
Yeah.
So I can jump back in. When you go back, long courses can be annoying. But again, that's one of the good things of Bruno Simon's course. There is also text with everything. So you can quickly go through the text and find the code, find everything you need. You can read it if you want.
Which is,
So
the text is just a transcribe of the video, or just like, it's a different kind of summary?
I think not.
Interesting.
I think it's like almost like a written tutorial. You kind of follow it without having to. Because sometimes when you talk, you will be explaining things. You will be saying a couple of extra stuff.
Interesting. Okay.
But I literally love that.
I mean, like even in the Webflow Masterclass, there's still like videos where I'm just doing the build. So it's like a 1-hour video, but I really tried to avoid the long videos on this course. But it's interesting what you're saying.
It depends on the subject also and how advanced you are. Like if I'm going in and I want to take something quickly, how to build it, and I'm an advanced user, I don't want the long how to build the base of, I don't know, something. I need the part that I don't know how to do. So go in, go out, buy. If I'm kind of learning and it's complex and I have to, like Bruno Simon's course, I will watch it and then I will rewatch it to do stuff. Because it's a complex thing and it's code, and I'm not that good with code. So I need to be understanding what's happening and then go back and actually trying to do it. There are probably people there being like, oh, the course is too long. You can never please everyone, right? But
that's interesting.
Now take it out. You have more experience in that.
Yeah.
I have experience as myself and a student. So
yeah, I always like to experience courses as a student as well and see how I feel about them.
Like right now, the Blender one I'm doing, for me, most of the parts are like 7 minutes, and it annoys me. I want to go through it. Like I don't want to be stopping every now and then, because I can stop it myself. But maybe it's me, So I don't know. Maybe the option. I don't know.
Got it. Wait, so I saw that you went to study 3D in Milan. What was that like? Why, and what was that experience like?
I was studying graphic design in Thessaloniki, and I kind of realized I didn't like it because, like, branding, bleh, not my thing. So, although I like the part that you prepare things to print, so I think I don't like some parts of graphic design. I adore that I'm technically very good at almost all of it. I'm not good at the creative part. And then A Bug's Life came out, and I watched it in the cinema, and I was like, oh, not what I want to do, So I was like, okay, looking for school. So I found a school in Milano, and I always wanted to study in Italy anyway, since I was a kid. So it was a combo thing. And the school, it was different back then. Now schools, you go in and it's all 3D. That was a 3-year school, and we started with graphic design. There was a lot of us. It was the School of Visual Communication. So we did web, we did video, we did graphic design, and we did 3D, all of us. And then the last year, we only did 3D for us, for example. It was fun because my teacher was a certified Maya instructor, and I fell in love with Maya. I feel like heart. I'm like I still want to have a tattoo of the old logo of Maya, and like the fancy one, not the bold, generic ones they have now. I also love texturing because my specialization got to be texturing and a little bit of light. So, and if you see my website, which is very unfinished, but it's very grungy and texture heavy and definitely my direction in life.
It's really interesting what you said. I've actually noticed it with so many students. Like, I think designers is really at the intersection between creativity and technical work, right? Because on the one hand, there's all the ideas. On the other hand, we need to use the technical tools on the computer to implement these ideas. And they're actually very two different parts of the brain, I think, that is responsible for either the, like, I don't know, right side of the brain is more creative, like painting, colors. The other side of the brain is more like technical logic. And it's funny that I've noticed that because our courses, Webflow course is more technical, but then we have a branding course, which is more on the creative side of things. And I've noticed that a lot of designers, they come in, they experiment, they, take a bunch of courses, and then they kind of find their place. Some people would say, you know what, I just want to do the Webflow technical work. That's the side of the brain that I like to spend time in. Other people are just going to say, you know what, I want to do the design work. I don't want to spend time with the technical work. That's not for me. Yeah. And then some people, I think maybe I'm the kind of a person that in the middle, I kind of enjoy both of them. But I was going to ask you on which one are you, but I think you've basically pretty much said that you're on the technical side of you enjoy the technical work, no?
Yes and no. I think the technical part feels easy. And there's no, oh, I don't like this, change it.
Not necessarily. Easy in sense of what? Easy that...
No, I mean...
Easy to implement in Webflow, or?
I need basically, you need something, you build it, it's done. You don't have to... I'm an overthinker, so I'll be trying to create something and it's like, will they like it? Will they do that? I'm not very good with that part. And they didn't practice it enough probably because I don't think I'm a bad designer, but it stresses me out too much to try to please people and everything. And I'm not good with that part. Because when I design something for fun or because I enjoy what I'm doing, I'm kind of good. I'm like, I have my own personal side. I'm definitely not trendy. I'm definitely on the off sides of things, but that's my personal thing. And I'm kind of good with it. But, oh my God, the pressure. I don't need that. Development is easy.
I just met a friend last week who we went to the same design school, and he was like one of the top students in branding and design and stuff like that. And I met him and I was like, hey, dude, what's up? What are you up to these days? And he was like, do you know, I mostly do Webflow builds these days. It's so much more chill and relaxed. Like, I don't have to argue with clients. They come up with the design. I do the build and that's it. Like, it's so chill. And I was like, that's so interesting. I don't know if my gut feeling tells me it's like, dude, are you just scared of arguing with clients? And because with the design, there's friction, right? The clients, hey, I don't like this, change this. And then you have to argue with them. And it can become frustrating. But to me, I love that challenge. I mean, I enjoy that kind of like collaboration that has friction sometimes. But maybe it's not for everybody. I can see what you're saying.
I like puzzles. So having a challenge because someone designed something and how to build it, if it's hard, I'm like, game, let's do this. It's challenging, it's fun, it's exciting. That's why I like to learn also new stuff. But trying to align with someone on what they think they want or what they want and what you thought, and for me, it's too much. So I only take a few projects that I know I can communicate with them well. I like them giving me feedback. But I need to know they understand where I'm coming from, what's my style, and what I can give them. Like, if you come to me, you're not getting anything minimalistic ever or super clean. Because, I struggle with it. It's I'm trying to fit in a mold that it's not made for me. And then I'm like, okay, just give me the design, I'll build it.
But, some people
I tend to be a little bit more...
No, I see what you're saying, but just like about the design styles, some people just have a style. Some people would only do minimal work. Some people will only do whatever. maximalist, grungy work, and that's why clients come to them, because that's what they want. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
Why waste energy? I'm thinking that they've become too hard.
I think,
I'm like, I can develop and get
I
paid.
mean, how is fire created? It's like friction. It's heat. It's like I think that's how creativity happens. It's painful, but it's like that's how art is created. I don't know. That's what I think. But it's painful. Yeah, it can be painful. I know. I wanted to ask you about Lottie Files because I saw that you're contributing. Is that animations that you put on Lottie Files?
I like rating.
Yeah. Well, so okay. I have to. I'll give you a preface. I met the the Lottie File guys when I was in San Francisco. I think in one of these Webflow thing, like 3-4 years ago, and they were telling me about Lottie Files, and I was like, nice, like archive of Lottie Files. That's useful. But they were like having this huge vision about a company and whatever, raising money and making a lot. And I was like, guys, it just like archive of Lottie animation. Like, what's the big deal? I couldn't understand why it's a big deal. Since then, they've been like blowing up and they've created tons of, build a huge website, all of these plugins to export stuff and like super useful, amazing website. And I could not understand how they got people to contribute all of these amazing animations and stuff like that. How did they create this amazing resource? And then I saw that you're contributing there. I was like, I got to understand, like, what's the motivation? Are you like, yeah, I created something nice, let me give it to everybody? I don't know.
Especially with Lotties. You can be an animator, but you may not be able to build a Lottie because it's an animation made for the web and it has limitations. And using images, a lot of people do them wrong. And they get like, why is my Lottie so heavy? And then I will open it and be like, yeah, because you kind of rendered everything and you're having a video. Trying to upload it as a Lottie. You're doing it wrong, right? And for me, it was, why not? It's small animations I can build, kind of fun. I can play around to test how this workflow goes and what am I going to do with it? I use it once, just put it there. And it got me some clients at some point to build Lotties for them.
Interesting.
And if you're kind of good at animation and you understand the web, it's a kind of niche. Not everyone can actually build it. So now I stopped my subscription to Adobe Edit and I'm staying clear unless I really have to reactivate it. So I want to learn Rive.
What is Rive?
Because it's awesome. You can create animations, but they're a little bit more like program.
Is it like After Effects?
And they can react. No.
Okay.
No. It's closer to coding something, but it's a visual. I don't know how to explain it. It's a bit. They're animations for the web. They're even more advanced. They will have hover states. They react if you use a runtime to add them. We're still waiting for integration with Webflow. Come on, Webflow. But I think it's exciting because also it's a new thing to learn. So
you like to learn the new thing. So what are you going to... So let's see. What do you need to replace in the Adobe Suite? What do you do for photo editing?
I have the Affinity Suite. I have Affinity Photo, Designer, and how's the other one? Well, I haven't used InDesign or Quark in a long time, so I don't use that a lot. And I had them. I bought them. Like, I had the older version. I got the new one. But you know how if you're used to the software, you don't move away easily?
Yeah.
I've been using Illustrator since 1998 or something. So the suite is upward. But now, since I don't have a subscription anymore, I'm trying to adjust. And it's not bad. I like the software. It's just a resistance because I'm used to it. The same with Maya and Blender. It's the resistance of the familiar.
Now Adobe Photoshop has this AI generative feel, which is pretty crazy.
I don't care.
Have you seen this? I mean, this
I did.
Honestly, this is the first, I think, innovation I've seen from Adobe in like a few years, but it's just like so good. It's mind blowing.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. But again, I like to go against the grain, like a bad religion. The song. I'm like, everyone's like, AI, yes. I'm like, no. I'm a little bit, I don't know if I do it on purpose or not, but I kind of like to be on the
I
on the
understand.
side, not on the
I
fan.
understand.
So
I have my punk
I
background, so
think it's a good thing, maybe. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm telling you.
yeah.
So I'm kind of, I I enjoy being different. Well, obviously not that different. It's like, how different can you be in a world of 8 billion people? But of the mainstream kind of, I like the non-mainstream.
You know the
Like I'm using Deezer. Everyone uses Spotify. I'm using Deezer. I have to be honest though, when I chose Deezer, I didn't know Spotify was going to be the cool one.
yeah.
It was just a choice I did kind of early on. So
And now you're locked in with all the playlists and stuff. And
no, I like it. I still prefer it. I tried Spotify again. I don't like it. I didn't like it from the beginning. I still don't like it. So I don't know.
well, you know, there's a
Getting
good
better, I
good
guess.
branding advice, which is different is better than better. So you don't have to try to be better. You just try to be different because that's what people remember. Amazing. So you're learning
You
all kinds of
differentiate yourself.
you're learning everything that's possible to learn on the web. What's
I'm interested.
what's your goal, or do you have a goal? Are you like goal oriented? Do you like, oh, I need to do this thing by
No,
next year?
absolutely no. Because I know that the moment I become too serious, it will be too stressful. And right now I'm learning stuff kind of like I was learning Welsh for some
Oh,
time.
wow.
And it was why? And I was like, there's no why. I wanted something that it wasn't work related, that I didn't need. Because when you need something, you try to be like, oh, I have to learn this. It's not fun, even if it's a fun thing. But if you learning something just for the heck of it, there's no pressure on getting better. There's no pressure.
I disagree.
It's
I
nice. It's
completely
like,
disagree. So I started during COVID. I started learning piano. Okay, so just for fun. I mean, I don't need to learn piano. There's no rush to learn piano. I'm like, okay, but now, and I'm such a ritualistic person, or like a person of habit. So I am playing piano. I take my kids to school at like 8 in the morning, and then 8 till 8:30. I practice piano. It's like 30 minutes a day, and then 8:30 I leave for the office. If I do not get, for whatever reason, I don't do my piano time, I'm like stressing out so bad, like, oh my God, I'm not gonna practice piano. I'm gonna stalk. Like, and there is no stress. I mean, like, I don't know, maybe it's just like, oh man, what's my teacher's gonna think about me? I'm not gonna make it. Like, I committed to learn these two bars, and now I'm going like, I am stressing about this so much. I don't even know why. It's just piano, dude. Like, who cares? But I'm stressing. I don't know.
but yeah, I know. No, for me, because I did I started also during COVID. I decided to learn and I bought a ukulele.
Oh, nice.
I suck at it, but I was like, you know what? Since there's no pressure, I don't practice it enough, but also I don't care. I don't want to be good at it. I'm like, I usually have no end game for it. It's just whenever, just try it. So eh, I don't have like that ritual so much. It's only maybe getting the coffee during the day. So my brain will replace it. So I will do Welsh and then I will learn something else and I will stop Welsh because my brain cannot take all of it.
Yeah.
So and that's why I'm circling. I'm always going like jumping from one subject to the next and then I go back again. So you cannot be that consistent. So
I think my problem is TikTok has figured out I am interested in learning piano. So now he will only give me piano videos, and I will see these, 12-year-old kids playing Beethoven, like, and I'm like, oh my God, I will never be that good. And I think that adds stress to my life, I guess.
I don't have TikTok, so
Less
yeah,
stress already.
Second, when I was learning ukulele, my neighbor kids, they're like now 11 and 12. Their legacy, like the whole family, is really good with music. They're actually Von Traps. How can they pick it up so easy? And I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going there. So, like, okay, they're learning. It's fun. I'm excited because I go like, yay, I managed to play this. And they're like looking at me like, yeah, okay, cool. And I don't know, I had this discussion with Matthew. Since I don't really believe in failure, no, No expectations.
That is my goal right now. Like, I'm trying to remove my expectations because everything, like, for example, this for the beginning of this year was just like no growth for Flux, which is just like, you might say, okay, right, we didn't grow. I mean, it's okay. But because I'm in this kind of like expectation and growth mindset, I'm like, oh, if I'm not growing, I must be a failure. How come, I talk to these other people and their company is growing and my company isn't growing? I must be failing. And it's just like, but I don't know how to remove these expectations right now. So that's my meditation. That's like what I'm trying to think. But you're, in a way, I think, very lucky if you, by nature, just enjoying without expectation. I think that's so awesome.
I'm pretty sure it's a coping mechanism because of my jumping through things. So if you're changing what your interest, someone could say because you're not being good enough in something, you change. I get bored very easily. But since I go back to it, is it really because I couldn't make it, or my brain was just like overwhelmed and needed a break? And I found that taking longer breaks of things I'm learning, when I go back, my brain kind of processed everything and it's easier. So, well, it's maybe the way I'm learning.
Yesterday, my piano teacher sent me a podcast about learning and the Huberman thing. I don't know if you've heard about them. And he was talking about, anyway, like neuroscientists, something. Anyway, he was saying that for people who are over 25, their brain, obviously, it's much difficult for them to learn. They have to break it down into smaller chunks. So after more than 30 minutes to an hour, your brain will start feeling overwhelmed. The actual learning is in your brain is while you sleep. So you have to take breaks. You have to rest. Otherwise, you can't just feed information into your brain. It's not going to work. Taking breaks is important, and that's why maybe it works.
Yeah. It's like when you exercise. Like, for example, there was a time I was doing a little bit of rock climbing, only indoors. And then you will try something, try fail all the time. And then you'll be like, I quit. And then you take a rest of 2 days and you go back. And the first try, it's done. And you're like, wait, what? What happened?
You went to sleep. Actually, you went
tired.
To sleep.
Yeah. You were tired. You were overthinking it. Like, your brain can like find a way in your body also, because you practice enough in the between to give it like everything it needs to actually achieve it.
So you're saying you might be quitting or jumping between stuff, but you're in the Webflow scene for a while. Doesn't look like you're going to skip from that. Even if you're, learning new stuff, you're still kind of like devoted, no? Or on that path.
I don't abandon stuff, but like there will be periods I won't build in Webflow, for example. I will do more, I don't know, maybe code, maybe I will do some other thing. But all the things I ever did, they're kind of in the design space. Yeah. I did, at some point, I was screen printing. I did photography. They all kind of connect. So it's not like, okay, now I will become a doctor and then I will do like, and they're not so different, they're kind of facets of this huge polyhedron or something, how it's called in English. I shouldn't be that Greek. So they're kind of all parts of the same huger thing. So I can go back. And usually the separation helps me with the things I was already using because it's an extra, It's,
That's what I call the full stack designer, right? You pack a lot of skill sets, but they're still serving you in this kind of like space.
Yeah, I feel it gives you kind of generic kind of view of things that a lot of people are lacking. And it took me a long time to understand that I had a lot of knowledge of things because I like to collect knowledge, I think. It feels at the time when you learn it that it's useless because you know parts of it. But when it gets to the point that you need to have a little bit more global understanding of how things work, well, you know a lot of things because I did animation. I can go in animations in Webflow easier than someone that has no idea how the principles of animation work. And because I don't see well, I can get into the head of like accessibility faster because, well, without my glasses, I'm semi-blind. So it's I think how you see and how you perceive the world around you. And if you're open to like say, okay, you know what? I had this small experience and this could contribute something. Those were the things that got me here anyways, So why not?
Nice. Amazing, Maria. Thank you so much for doing this conversation with me.